We are leaving the south coast of New South Wales behind. The ocean views, the sea breeze is all great. It's home, but today we are heading the other way, inland, up into the tablelands, where the air gets cooler, the roads get narrower, and the trees start closing in around you. Joadja Ghost Town is only an hour and 45 minutes from the Wollongong area, Shell Harbour, or 2 hours from Sydney. And the ride is amazing. You need to do it. And right about now, the phone signal dies. That's how you know that you are close. Over 1,200 people live here, mostly Scottish immigrants who crossed the war for fire in the rock. Between 1870 and 1911, Joadja mined oil shale and turned it into kerosene that lit up the colony. It was a real town with a school, post office, bakery, railway, even one of the first telephones. Then cheaper oil came from America. By 1911, it was a ghost town. But the story doesn't end there, because today this valley has a heartbeat again. When I arrived, I wasn't sure what to expect. A ghost town is usually empty, silent, forgotten, but someone was waiting for me. This is Valero Jimenez. Val and his wife, Elisa, bought this 1,000-acre property in 2011. But here is the thing. Valero is an Australian. He's a Spanish. And his story is just as incredible as the town. Valero's family escaped the dictatorship in Spain, Franco. They came to Australia for freedom, for a new life, and they built businesses here. Val is not just a businessman, he's an adventurer. A few years ago, he broke his leg riding a KLR motorcycle on Fraser Island. Did he stop? No, he keeps riding. When I met him, he welcomed me like an old friend. He didn't give me a tour, he gave me a journey. And what followed was unforgettable. The first stop wasn't a ruin, it was the Distillery. Because this is not just a ghost town anymore, it's a living, breathing place. Val and Elisa didn't come here to mine shale, they came here to make whiskey. And not just any whiskey, they grow their own barley, they source their own spring water, and they use a Spanish cherry cask, Oloroso, Pedro Jimenez, the same barrels the Scots have used for centuries. The Scot miners came here for oil, to light lamps. Now a Spanish family is here for whiskey, to warm the soul. Same valley, same water, different drink. So this is the car park, the entrance, everything is beautiful. And now we're moving into the ruins, the School of Arts. It was completed in 1886, and this wasn't just a building, it was the heart of the town. Dances, concerts, meetings, this is where the community came to life. And on Sundays, it doubled as the village church. Ministers would travel from Wollongong to hold services right here. In a remote valley surrounded by bush, these Scottish miners built a place for celebration, for worship, for connection. This is my favorite building because it's not about industry only, it's about people. So now we are going where the real magic starts. It's a 2K ride through a beautiful forest, and you will see birds, kangaroos. It's really nice. After this, you just need to do a little short walk, maybe 500 k's, maybe 600, and you will find the spring. So this water has flowed for thousands of years. The Aboriginal people knew it. The Scottish miners drank from it. And now the Jimenez family uses it for every single drop of their whiskey. After a nice short walk and drinking water from the spring, we rode to the railway bridge that was built in 1877 and carried the shale and kerosene to the foot of the incline. Before the bridge was built, mules were used to haul the shale in carts across this valley. This was Carrington Row, brick cottage where Scottish miners and their families lived. You can still see the fireplaces, the chimneys, the shape of the rooms. Imagine walking up here. The retorts roaring 24 hours a day, the smell of shell smoke, children running to school. Was like around 90 kids at his peak. You gotta come check it out. It's an awesome experience. So we kept rolling down the road. And first up, on my right, old foundations, just sitting there in the bush, crumbling and quiet. Then, a little further, brick towers, also on my right. You can see them popping up through the trees, like ghosts of an industrial past. And then, we pull into Stringybark Row, an area that was built in 1881. But you don't see a ton of complete ruins in this area. Not because they were not there, but because of how they built stuff back then. Wood and bark. Yeah, that doesn't last 150 years. What do you see? Kangaroos everywhere, birds, deer. Nature took over this place a long time ago. These were smaller houses, tough lives, bark for roofs and walls. Not everybody got brick, but everybody got hope. Now we're moving into the heart of the town, the Refinery area. 7 acres of steels, pipes and chimneys. The process is basically raw shale oil came down from the retorts, where we're going next, and here's what happened. They heat it in iron steels, different temperatures for different products. Then they wash it with chemicals, sulfuric acid, caustic soda, to purify it. The end result was kerosene for lamps, paraffin wax for candles, lubricating oils, greases, and soap. The chimneys fed into a system of flues to keep the steels hot, and underneath a whole network of tunnels for service, drain, and for keeping the whole place running. So this was a beautiful working factory 100 years ago. Then the retorts. They were not just old bricks. These are of World Heritage significance. 72 retorts, each one loaded with 2 tons of crushed shale, heated to 400 Celsius degrees. The rock released like an oil-saturated steam, piped to condensers, then turned into raw shale oil. First grade shale wasn't even used for kerosene. It was exported worldwide for coal gas enrichment, and the second grade shale led to Australia. Moving forward along, the orchard manager Cottage was built in 1882. It's the only house in the valley that has survived intact, continuously lived in since the day it was built. So imagine thousands of trees, apples, pears, plums feeding over 1,000 people. This home still stands in great condition. At the end of the tour, Val did something I will never forget. He handed me a bottle. This is for you, not because you're a guest, because you are an adventure rider. We understand each other. Not just whiskey, a piece of Joadja, a piece of his history. I do not open special bottles often, but this one I will open it on a night when I need to remember that adventure is still alive. The last stop, the school, 140 students in the 1890s. These walls have heard lessons, arguments, promises. The teacher lived here, a lonely life but a meaningful one, teaching the children of miners, immigrants, and dreamers. So here is the thing. This is not a polished tourist attraction, no gift shops every 50 feet. What Joadja is real, full of history, knowledge, nature, and adventure. You want a great ride? Do it. You want to walk through a real ghost town? It's right here. You want to taste whiskey made from spring water? Val's got you covered. You can do this in a single day. Right from Sydney or Wollongong, see the ruins, meet Val, taste the whiskey, right home with a nice memory. So don't just watch this on your phone. Take the dirt road. Lose the phone signal. Knock on Val's door. He will welcome you like family. So now is your turn. Thanks for coming along, and see you in our next adventure.